Howdy howdy, this is Critic Running back again with an arena cutoff video for Marvel Contest of Champions. Today I cover round 1 results for the Mister Sinister and Vulture arenas, then jump into some round 2 predictions. So first the results. So it looks like, unfortunately, we're back to really high first round cutoffs for new champs. We go all the way to, for Mister Sinister, to 62 million, over 60 million again. We haven't seen these numbers since the thing. A lot of folks were thinking, including myself, that this may be kind of a sign of the times, like Kabam talking about the removal of accounts that use bots for arena grinding, that kind of thing. And after that declaration a few weeks ago, we saw even for new champs those numbers decline. Even for decent champs, we're not just talking like a Diablo kind of impact. Even Havoc's first round was only 20 million. Now he did jump back to 45 million in the second round, and I was hoping that would be more the norm, but it looks like with Mr. Sinister, sure, he's a great champ, looks like he's a good champ, a lot of good synergies, etc. Mr. Utility kind of deal. So definitely a decent champ, but I was hoping we'd be in that, 45, 50, 55 million range, but unfortunately it looks like it's jumping even higher to over 60 million again. And the same can be said for the 4-star feature arenas. That went back over 10 million, now almost to 11 million at 10.9. And then as expected, the Vulture 4-star basic arena performed like a low interest, going right around that 1.65. In actuality, 1.63 is actually closer for the actual for Vulture. So in terms of how these actuals compared to my predictions, for the most part, conceptually, theme-wise, I predicted it right in terms of getting the first round would be higher for these new champs, but I didn't think we'd get over 60 million. So surprisingly, if you do the 10% target, I just actually missed 62 million, since 60 and some change was within that 10% threshold, but still a bad prediction outside of the 10%. But as you can see already with the check mark, the actual 10 million is actually within the 10% of the actual for the 4-star basic, and almost spot on with the 4-star basic arena. So these were good predictions, whereas with the 5-star feature, did get the sense that we were going to be higher again, but I didn't think we'd get 60 million, so it was off a bit with that. So now that we've had a chance to take a look at the actuals for the first round, here are my thoughts. Here's some analysis, some trend analysis for the second round to consider. First, starting with the 5-star feature. So I pulled out some similar results going back to Aegon, Darkhawk, and Thing. Surprisingly, with Aegon and the Thing, when you were over 60 million for the first round cutoff, it actually went up in the second round. I definitely see with a Thing and Aegon, there definitely be an interest and hype for those champs. I just wonder if Mr. Sinister is going to have the same kind of situation. I do think we'll see an increase. I just wonder how big of an increase. And is it truly the bots are out of the system, and these are real people grinding these high numbers, or what's the situation? Will that be impacted now it's in the middle of the week versus at the end, during the weekend kind of thing? So definitely some consideration points for the second round of the 5-star feature arena. Now when it comes to the 4-star feature arena, you can see there's always a slight bump between round 1 and round 2, and so there's no reason to other than Darkhawk. Darkhawk, there was a decrease from 12 million to 10 million, but Thing and Night Thresher went up in the second rounds. And then lastly, with the 4-star, or I should say lastly, for the 4-star basic arena for Vulture, there's typically a bump between round 1 and round 2. And lastly, for the 3-star feature, Mister Sinister arenas, there's typically a decrease between round 1 and round 2. And these are pretty consistent themes, both for the 4-star basic as well as the 3-star feature arena, so there's no reason for us to think otherwise. So considering these past results, looking at the trends, here are my thoughts for the round 2 predictions for the veterans bracket, meaning your account's been open for over 60 days. So I think we are going to see that slight increase for Mister Sinister, whether it's bot driven or whatever the case may be. There's definitely plenty of hype across the community for this champ, so I do think we'll stick with the trends that we saw for Aegon and the Thing, that there was actually an increase in the second round. So we'll go with that trend and think it'll go from 62.2 to 65 million in the second round. For the 4-star feature, same thing. It was a pretty consistent trend of the second round being slightly higher. I think we're going to see that here with a second round cutoff at 11.7 million. And then with the 4-star basic, it's pretty consistent as well with a slight bump. So I think we'll go to 1.75. And then lastly, for the 3-star feature, this is where we actually see a decrease between round 1 and round 2. And I think 1.2 million will be right around that, 5 to 10%, which is my typical target for the cutoff for the 3-star feature, Mister Sinister. Now, these are the predictions. As we can tell, I don't always get within that 10% range. So I always like to give a little bit of a buffer, if you will, between where I think the cutoff will be and what will get you kind of in a safety zone, as I call it, kind of a grinding target to go after. You really don't want to miss out on these champs. I think 68 million only 68 million will work with the 5-star feature Mister Sinister. Piece of cake. 68 million should definitely get you Mister Sinister. 13 million should work for the 4-star feature Mister Sinister. 1.9 million should work for the 4-star basic Vulture, and then 1.3 million should work for the 3-star feature Mister Sinister. And both these grind targets as well as the predictions again for the veterans bracket. Now when it comes to the earlier brackets, newer accounts, just not a ton of data out there for me to do any of that trend analysis that you've seen previously for the veterans bracket. So this is just off of, you know, information given from the community from time to time as people come in and out of those brackets. So keep that in mind as you kind of base off your grinding for these. If you know these are just really rough, you know, ballpark numbers to consider as you do your grinding in these earlier brackets. For the beginners bracket, you know, a brand new account within 30 days. 3-star feature Mister Sinister, you're looking at 245,000. 4-star basic Vulture, 800,000. 4-star feature Mister Sinister, around 1.1 million. Now for the intermediate bracket, as the name implies, your account's a little bit older, so from 31 to 60 days. With the 3-star feature Mister Sinister, you're looking at 525,000. 4-star basic Vulture, 900,000. And lastly, the 4-star feature Mister Sinister, right around the ballpark of 1.5 and some change, 1.5 million. So anyway, these are my thoughts for the second round cutoffs for the Mister Sinister and Vulture arenas. Would love to hear your thoughts. Throw them on down, or especially if you have any questions, throw them on down in the comment section. I'd be glad to discuss them with you there. And other than that, if you like this video, we'd really appreciate if you click that thumbs up button. And if you like this and other videos on my channel and you haven't subscribed, we'd really appreciate it if you did. Thanks a lot for stopping by and have a great day.